back, family. It's time for part two. We told you that we would come back and continue the story of like how we found love in a hopeless place. We found love in a hopeless place.
All right. That's
All
enough
right,
song.
yeah, because they're gonna what you call it, where they demonetize you and all
Cap
the
it off,
things. Yeah,
demonetized.
yeah, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
But it's part two. I think the last thing you heard from us was Mrs. KP got home and said to her friend, like, yo, just met the flyest dude ever. Nah, but go ahead. I'll let you continue the story. Because I wasn't there for this part, so
Yeah. So it's funny. So not only did I give KP my actual physical address, where to pick me up, door to door, where to pick me up. But when we got to the restaurant, I turned my phone off. I didn't put it on silent or whatever mode. I literally turned it off. I think I actually turned it off completely when we were in the car. I just turned it off. I didn't want distractions. Turned it off. Meaning, otherwise nobody could reach me. Right. Before we went out, I gave said homegirl all the information, all your information, da da da. This is who it is, name, blah blah blah, everything. But I turned my phone off. So when I got back to my apartment, um, and then I like was sitting around for a minute, just like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Like I was just like taking it all in, like what actually did I experience? And then I remembered, oh, let me turn my phone on. And when I turned my phone on, there were like all these messages, like from my friend being like, "Are you okay? Like I've been calling you. Like where are you? Are you good?" Like because it was late because we had extended the date by driving around. Remember? So I didn't get in until sometime after midnight. We were out in the streets running around, wheels on the bus go round and round, forever. That's what we were doing. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm home. I'm safe. And by the way, not only am I safe, I met my husband. So those were the words I spoke. That was, and then I said, I'll tell you tomorrow. I'll tell you the rest tomorrow, girl. I'm sleepy, but I knew. I knew. And I also had to cancel the next day. We went out for like a longer date, and I had some other dates scheduled for like the day after that second date, and I canceled those. And I told that individual, hey, look, I wish you the best of luck in this dating experience. Good luck to you. I hope you find what you're looking for. These dating streets are hard and complicated, and I wish you the best. I said, you're a lovely person. Good luck. I don't want to waste your time, and I'm not wasting my time. I already found what I'm looking for. And I told the other people that had dates later on, I said, thanks, but no thanks. And that was it.
and I think I told you this like much later on, but we had planned to go on the date the next day, and I think we got it back at a reasonable time. I think it might have been around 11. And I knew that I was going to see you next day, but I still called you in the car on the way home, like just checking in, whatever. And woke up the next morning, and we was talking again, like we hadn't been on a date like 6 hours earlier. With this camera always messing with me. It don't look. Um, but I think then what happened was, um, I called my dad the next day, and I told him like, look, man, because I hadn't told him that we was going out earlier. He knew that we were going out that Saturday, so I called him and I told him, um, I'm going back to see her. We had an amazing time last night. Um, I think this one will be around for a while. Off of just like one date. Didn't know how what's the word they use, prescient it would be. But like I knew that this was something special. Um, so we had scheduled for noon, and I remember like coming to your house, and we were just chilling. We were just like in each other's spaces. It already felt like we'd been dating for 6 months. It was wild. Like I had no idea how this was happening. And I just kept telling myself, there's no way you can feel like this. There's no way. This is crazy. You gotta chill. You gotta stop. Um, and there's no way that this could be happening.
Yeah.
And I just had such an amazing day that we spent probably from noon to almost midnight, or actually after midnight, um, just together in each other's presence. One thing that stood out to me then, and this is like a joke that guys tell all the time, but one thing that stood out to me was that we were driving, and I was going to take you to one place. You like you pointed out, like, yo, I want to go there, and I had to drive up a street. It was a one-way street up a hill, and when we got towards the top of the hill, you saw a Chinese place, and you were like, "Oh, Chinese, that looks good." And I asked you, and I've asked this before in other relationships, and other men have asked this. This is the universal male question: do you want to eat there instead? And your response locked in that I was going to try and lock you down. And this may sound simplistic and simple and like a weird time to like stamp it, but like your response was, yes, I'd prefer to eat there. And you know what? In my head, I was like, the only woman ever that has been firm with like what she wants. Trying to get this camera to come back, but like, y'all don't understand sometimes. Women, y'all are like inscrutable. I'm using big words. Inscrutable. And you were the least inscrutable woman I have ever met. And in that moment, I say, yo, lean into it. We were taking pictures that day like we'd been in the game for a minute. You were already sending it to family members. And by the time that evening ended, I was like, yo, can I see you tomorrow? This was Saturday. I have plans to go hiking with a friend. I was trying to cancel those plans to spend yet a third day in your presence, and you told me no.
Yeah,
Um,
I did.
I wasn't necessarily hurt. I was incredibly disappointed because I just knew, like, yo, I got to be in her presence all the time. And I didn't know when the next time I was going to see you. And I was like, um, one of my favorite Jodeci songs, I was fiending. Like at this point, yo, I need. Why are we? What? Why did you say no? Like I'm like, yo, is she not feeling it the way I'm feeling it? Like what's happening right now that we can't be in each other's presence for a third day? I had lost all cool at this point. I'm just trying to like we again. It wasn't like a super like super physical thing because we both were like determined to walk a path led by faith, but I was ready to bun up. I'm like, yo, what? Come through? Like, what's going on? And you said, no, you need to spend time with your friend. I remember you
Yeah,
saying that, like, you need to spend time
yeah,
with your friend because you already
yeah,
had plans with your friend. You need to get together with. And I was like,
yeah,
man, previous relationships has always been a problem of like, yo, you spend too much time with your friends, or why don't we do X together? And I just remember like at the same time as I was disappointed, I was actually incredibly like pleased that you said that.
yeah. Well, let me tell you what was going through my mind. Some of what was going through my mind in that time was, oh, okay, I had a date scheduled for that third day, which was Sunday. I had a date scheduled with someone else, a first date. And I had like told them the day before or like 2 days before or the day before, I told them like, hey, listen, it's not gonna work, da 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 da. Um, I wish them well and bid them adieu. And so I knew I had been losing sleep. I like was working 2 jobs. I was working from home, working 2 jobs from home. I'm like in grad school. I'm hustling. And I was tired. Good things was happening, but your girl, Miss KP, was sleepy. Yeah, she was sleepy. So I said, no, go hang out with your friends. You know what? Because we want sleeping and we want to get a little bit more sleep. I wanted to get more sleep. And on top of that, I really wanted him to hang out with his friends. I was like, no, I don't want to start a thing where you start changing up things that are important to you and special to you. Because No, so I was like, no, go hang out with your friends. And also, excuse me, I had to then think about what was I going to wear again. That's a lot of pressure. 3 days in a row. Come on now. Like, I was like, no, you better go hang out with your friends. Like, and da 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 da. But like, honestly, if you had pressed me maybe one or two more times, I probably would have gave in. I really, because I wanted to see you again. And then we didn't. And also, the biggest thing that was over that was the discernment for me. Like, I had to really practice what that discernment looked like for me to actually deny myself. Like, actually, truly deny myself and deny you of what you wanted and deny myself of what I wanted. And I had to stay the course. I had to stay faithful. And I said, no, no, no. This is how you get yourself into trouble, Mrs. Future KP. You better tell him no. Let him do what he doing with his Sunday. And you do what you do with your Sunday. And that's what I needed to do. But it was not easy to stay the course with that because I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I want to get this. But then I was like, no, 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 no. And we didn't see each other for about 4 days, which was at that point a lot, a lot. So this is how it brings me back to the little bit, the minuscule amount that I know about Brett and Tiffany from Love Is Blind. Um, the little bit that I know about them and the little bit that I know about the show, like it seemed right away. There were things that made me think of us and think about us in the past immediately from the little bit of clips I saw. The little bit of clips I saw, I remember like actually we didn't see each other for 4 days, and then you picked me up and brought me to your apartment because we didn't have a next date. We didn't have a third date lined up. We did not have a third date lined up. Kind of just was like, okay. I was being like nervous, but also I was like, I'm trying to do what I know God wants me to do and not repeat behaviors from my past. So I have to act full of discernment and just slow it down just a little bit. And then you came and picked me up. How many 4 days later? And I went to your apartment. And the little clip I saw on TikTok of her looking at his man's closet and being like, "You're so organized. You're so neat. You got a closet for your photography stuff, and you got a closet for your clothes, and you got all these shoes." Like in my head, it made me chuckle because I remember seeing your apartment for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my god, this man is so organized. He's so neat. He has like a section for everything. Everything has a place. Like and like and like the little bit of like I saw on people posting like her looking at the closet, opening the doors, da da da. It made me think of oh my gosh, yeah, this literally happened to me, um, way back when.
And what's
So
crazy
that was
is I
like
didn't
something
have
that
time to
related.
clean up because I was caught up in other things. You weren't supposed to come by that day, but I had to see you, so I came and got you, and I had to make a decision of like, yo, is she gonna just see my mess, or is she gonna like, do I have time to clean it? Is she gonna accept this, whatever, whatever? And honestly, I was like, yo, the way I'm feeling, she's just gonna have to see who I am. But you missed something.
Mm,
You missed something very important. And this is the part where, for a long time, I didn't talk to anybody about this because I thought people would think that we was like wilding and crazy. Um, our conversations never stopped being 12 hours long, at least.
yeah,
We were still talking that much. At this point, we'd spent essentially a month talking to each other in like three
yeah.
weeks. Um, I came to get you on a Wednesday, Monday night on the phone, 3:30 in the morning. At the time when like you're so tired, you're telling people the truth. Um, I was still scared of what was happening because it didn't make sense to my logical brain.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make sense to the life that I had led up until that point. A lot of men, and I've done some like reading on this, but on like indecision and in growth, and a lot of men suffer from what a therapist I was reading a book. She calls it monkey bar syndrome, where we because a lot of us are grounded in logic and don't think emotionally before we think logically. Um, Monkey bar syndrome is where you're swinging and you have this bar. and then you grab the next one because it doesn't make sense to jump from monkey bar to monkey bar. It makes sense to grab one and then swing over now that you know it's secure. Um, and so I think I was suffering from monkey bar syndrome. This isn't logical. This doesn't make sense. You cannot jump into a relationship with someone that, though you've spent a lot of time together, you've only known physically for 4 days, 5 days, something like that. But 3:30 in the morning, I'm doing my best to explain what I'm feeling without saying what I think is crazy. And I said to you, and this is something that people, I think you were telling me that at your bachelor party, someone asked you who said it first, who said, I love you first. Um, Neither one of us. I said, this is crazy. I said it to you. I said, this is crazy. I don't know how I feel this way. I know what I feel. I can't say it. I don't want to say it to you, but just understand that I intend you. Like, I have intentions toward you. I intend you. And you got quiet and you said, I know what you mean. I intend you to.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that was very real.
yeah. And for us, that's exactly who we are. We're and I don't know if I was that before I met you, that I'm able to live in an emotional space while still being logical. That's not normal for me. Um, you've given me the space to express myself while still maintaining, like, I gotta think this through. Um, so that was Monday night. I intend you. Tuesday night, I think I slipped up and called you my girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and you,
And what am I saying?
huh? And you said,
And
yes,
what
I'm
I
your
said?
girlfriend.
No, that's not what I said.
What do you say?
I said was, oh, is that it? Is that for real?
Uh,
Is that it?
and
Like, I mean, did you forget a step?
and
You gonna ask me?
I said, you trying to kiss? You trying to be my girlfriend? And you said yes.
Did I not say I don't know? You got to ask me first,
And I asked you.
right? And then I said yes.
You make me work for everything.
I don't make the rules.
And then what happened 4 hours later?
4 hours later, after that,
Yeah, at like 3 in the morning. I said to you, well, you don't get that until we're married. And
get what?
I don't,
Until we're
I forget
married.
what we were talking about, but you said,
So
you said something like, I know. I said, so we're getting married. And you said, yes. And then it got
that I
quiet
did
on the
say yes.
phone. And I
That I
said,
did
so
say
we're getting married. And you said, yes.
yes. I did say yes.
I said, so you're going to marry me? And you said, yes.
Yes,
So
I
that,
said yes. Unequivocally yes. I just said yes.
so that was Wednesday morning. Wednesday
Yeah.
afternoon, you came over. Um, and I was already telling you that it was your place.
Yes. Which, oh my gosh, like for real, I was impressed. I was impressed for so many reasons, but you were taking care of yourself. You were had a place for everything. You had been living on your own as a fully functioning adult in the world where we were in really unprecedented times and there's a lot to be nervous
Oh, I
about and
had
da
a
da da da
fly
da.
apartment, dude.
I mean, a beautiful apartment. And I walked in and I was, what in the world is this man doing in this apartment? Like, this apartment is beautiful. It's stunning.
I had
And
artwork and everything. Like, I was really living
like
my
it was,
grown man life.
you really were. And I'll tell you, like I've said before, the one thing it was missing was my touch. No, I'm not even being funny with you. Like for real, it was missing my touch. And and then I was thinking like because it was Wednesday, I came over, you picked me up, you brought me over, and I packed a little bag. And I didn't go back to my apartment for maybe
Right.
I just didn't go back to my apartment. And I was like, think back to that little clip I saw of like Tiffany asking Brett, like, well, where am I going to work? Or how is it going to work with my work? And where am I going to sit down? And I'm thinking, oh my God, yes. I literally was thinking, where am I going to get my work done? Where can I sit in a corner and like work and have my laptop and get my things done? And
and I
You made it
had all
happen.
the things. I just hadn't had a reason to, like, I was in there, I had like the vibe set up, um I had spent a lot of time doing furniture and styling and all that. But I had a dining room table that it was just me. I never put it together because I was just like, yo, there's no point.
Yeah.
And the point walked itself into my door, walked itself right
Yeah.
in the door. And it was like, without realizing it, I had already been preparing for my person to come in.
Hmm.
There was an extra desk for some reason. And I just had all of these things that, remember, I had an extra computer for you to use for no reason.
You
Like, why
did.
is there an iMac just there? Like, I
You
don't know
did.
why I had an extra iMac. It became baby's
And
lap, or it became baby's iMac.
yeah, and the place was like, your place was so high tech. And I was like, what is this? What are all these gadgets? What's going on here? Why do you have all these things? Like, oh my gosh, like I don't understand. And you were just so welcoming immediately, and you were just in the language and posture of hours. Like, be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. Like, there were even conversations you were like, well, we can look into getting another apartment in the building, a bigger apartment in the building,
Which, if we
a
think,
two or three bedroom apartment in the
I
building.
don't know if
Like,
you saw this part, but there was a moment, and I remember saying this to you recently. Like, there was a moment where Brett was like, yo, if this doesn't work, I can like find another apartment in this building. And that's when I first thought to myself, yo, that sounds like us, because that was exactly what I was thinking. Like, this woman's not leaving my life. This
yeah.
woman is. I had come to the realization, like, you pray, you ask for guidance, you heal, and I think what finally just did it for me was like, who am I to have asked for something, receive it, and then say, wait, it's too easy.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be hard?
Yeah.
So I remember sitting down with you because that conversation about getting married had happened at 3:30 in the morning, and we were both
Yeah.
very tired. And I looked at her and I said, "Do you remember what we talked about last night?" And you said, "Yes." I said, "No, I like," and I think we were like joking and laughing and playing around and like experiencing each other. And
Hmm.
and please, I want everyone to understand that we did not like do any of the things. We were very intentional. Like, we were not jumping into. A lot of people build a relationship on like physical. We weren't jumping into that. We actually had a very long conversation about that too. But I stopped you, remember? And I stopped the music and I looked you in your eye and I said, "Do you remember what we talked about?" Um, I was serious, and you said, "So was I." And I asked you again, but this time, light of day, um, full, like all of the things. I asked you to marry me again. We were talking of day 4, people. 4 days after our first date, I asked you again, but we're not stupid people. We didn't run out and get married. We just committed to each other on that day and that moment. And
Hmm.
that is like, that was when we just said it doesn't matter what it looks like to other people,
Yeah.
because we knew that we had like we had found the moment, the time, the space, the place, all of the things. We had found it. And it didn't
Hmm.
matter if it was like 30 minutes or 5 years. We knew.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And it's so funny because also like the one of the clips I saw on social media was like him like showing her their apartment and saying like, oh, she had roommates and like they were discussing like, will we live in this place together? Like blah blah blah. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I had just moved into that apartment. It was a short term apartment. I just moved in there, maybe like 2 weeks before I actually met you on the dating app. And I thought like this apartment, like I had roommates right before, like I'm busting out, I'm doing my thing, da da da. Like it's me and all my glory by myself. I'm so happy, I'm so proud. I worked really hard to get here. And then only to like leave my apartment for weeks on it and just never go back to it. Just never went back to it. And like your apartment became our apartment. And you just opened up the home and just made it our home and was really special and intentional about making sure I had what I needed to succeed and to continue doing my work, and to stay on top of my work. And so, yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, pinch me, is this for real? Like, was like all the time God knew that like this was what was waiting on the other side for me of all of the everything else that happened in life to get me to the point that I could actually recognize, like, oh yes, this is it, because I knew what it wasn't. And then immediately upon meeting you, I knew what it was. So I feel like the choice becomes really simple and becomes really easy when it's brought to your face and you, like you said, you pray, you ask, prepare, work. Um, Faith without works is not dead, or faith without work. Help me now. Faith without works is dead. Yes. So, but for real, um, I was really in a place of like preparing and not necessarily knowing that I was preparing for you, but I knew that you were coming. And I also was going to take every last ounce of independence and solo living before I met you. And so when you showed up, I was ready. And I knew what you were asking me the night before, like 3 in the morning. I was very clear minded, very, very clear minded. And none of it was under duress or anything. It was all like, yeah, I know exactly what we're doing and I know exactly what's going to happen here. And so the courtship and that intense, immediate bit of time together was so short in calendar days. I'd known you in another life, clearly. Like, you know me in another life, clearly. Like, this was just like, oh, we meet again. This makes sense. Um, and so, yeah, I had no qualms about it at all. And I saw like something else where they were having dinner and like he was just reassuring her of his intention to marry, his intention to make good on what he knew, and how he had nothing wavering within him. And she telling him like that meant much to her because she didn't want him to feel pressured based on her desire. And she wanted him to be 100% rooted and grounded in his surety of like what he wanted, not because of pressure or feeling like we're in this grand environment and people think we have to do this. No, I want you to feel it independently and let's make it happen. And
After that,
yeah.
though, the logical part of us, because we're both very logical people. And I don't think that we were we weren't exactly the people before this moment to like fall in love and get engaged in like days. So the logical part kicked in the next day, and it really became we never sought validation, or at least there were moments where I can only speak for myself. There were moments where I did think like, man, people aren't going to understand, but I also never sought validation from anyone, like, because I had come to the point in my life where um, I operate in a place of I don't. No one's paying my bills. No one is getting me dressed in the morning. No one is washing my behind. Um, so if all of those things that a parent or a guardian would do are gone from my life, then the only thing that I need from anyone at this point is love. If you can't give that, then there's no place for you in my life. So I don't need anyone's validation. But what we did want to do is ensure that our families felt a part of the process, even if they didn't know what the process was. So the planning started. When are we going to go meet your family? So that they know who your husband's going to be, whether or not they knew that that's what that trip was. When are you going to meet my family? So they know who their daughter-in-law is going to be, even if they don't know what that is right then. We made plans. We started meeting each other's families under with not false pretenses, but you need to know this person. And when we both told them this person is going to be around for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and we were intentional. The whole um first 5, 6, 7, 8 months, 10, 12 months of our relationship has been about intention and intent and making sure that we did things the right way with, ourselves and with God, and then including the family. So we did all of the heavy lifting, and one thing that um really helped was, again, the pandemic. I don't know if our relationship blossoms in the exact same way without that forced seclusion, much like the pods, where, like, there is no getting away. There are breaks, but, like, if you had hammer toes, I would have found them, and, like,
Hmm.
it would have been a problem up front. We All the things, all of the different, like, the idiosyncrasies, understanding that we're both neurodivergent, and that comes with its own set of, like, quirks and personality, uh, uniqueness, if you will. Um, and realizing, like, how we work together, how we complemented each other, like, all of those things only strengthened because of the pandemic. Because where were we going? We had nowhere to go. We were with each other constantly, understanding that, like, it's okay to be quiet and silent, and neither one of us thinks that that's like, oh, the other person hates me. It's just like, yo, we're just quiet, or,
Yeah,
like, understanding, like, yo, if we want to eat spaghetti at 4 a.m. because we're up and we want spaghetti, we gonna bang on that spaghetti. And
yeah,
that's us. This is how we do things. It doesn't
yeah,
matter how you eat spaghetti at your house. This is how we eat spaghetti here.
yeah. I mean, it was so, again, I that word intention, intentionality, being authentic, being open and vulnerable, being very, very grounded. As much as there were flights of fancy, or like the speediness of it, the rate in which things went, uh, and all of the gooey inside cupcakey feelings of all the things, we were still very grounded. We didn't never took our foot off of the ground, and still remembered, okay, like, we say that N word marriage, that means this. That means marriage in this way. That means marriage under our faith system and what we believe, and how we are instructed to carry out getting to marriage, um, sustaining marriage, children, all the things. So, like, we were there, but we were also very, very rooted and very grounded. And, like, I love that pragmatic side of us. But we also had to go through all the things we went through before,
Mm.
so that we were able to identify, not only be intentional, but identify each other right away and march right towards it.
We had to share our
Because I
dark
figured I
places
had nothing
too.
to lose.
We had to share our dark places in a time and space where there was nowhere to go once the dark spaces were revealed.
Hmm.
We had to deal with that. Like, a
Yeah,
lot of people avoid those dark places, or
yeah.
they glance at them. We had to look at them and choose each
Yeah.
other.
Not only that, we had to do that. And also, at a point, I decided not to renew my lease. And that for me was a humongous leap of faith, because I was like, I'm giving up my lease, this thing that I worked so hard to get to, this place of independence, this place of, girl power to the max, all the things. And I'm walking away from this lease.
Mm.
No problem. I'm gonna walk away from it. I'm gonna leave this apartment. It served its purpose. And I'm gonna do this with you. And we're gonna make it do what it do.
And that was huge for both of us because we both experienced relationships where money was held against us, and we weren't, like, empowered to control, like, our own destiny in a way.
Yeah.
And we came together and we had to deal, like, man, when I tell you, if you are in a relationship where you cannot, your partner cannot come to you and tell you about their dark places, and you address them together, and you walk out of that conversation feeling better, secure, solid, and loved, evaluate that relationship. And I'm saying that from a place of having been in a different relationship. I had to explain, not like, guys, I had to explain my fears. Okay. And as men, there's very few people we tell our fears to. We don't tell our parents our fears. I might not tell my best friend my fears. I had to tell that woman my fears, not just like where I've been, what I've seen, what I've done, who I've been, the bad things that I've done, the shame that I have had in things that I've done to myself, to others. All of that stuff had to get expressed because we were microwaving this relationship, but we weren't going to make sure that we were going to make sure the ingredients were good. It might have been a short time, but it was a long existence.
Yeah. And I think, it was a dense nutritional, um, dense, high protein, everything. It was dense, nutritionally valuable getting together. Um, and it was it was about being very open, very honest about good, bad, the ugly, indifferent, fears, dreams, hopes, desires, all the things. And knowing that, okay, we said we're gonna do this. You asked me to marry you at 3:30 in the morning, and we doing this. Okay, we're gonna get there, and we will decide when that happens, when we get married, and on our terms and all of that.
I think
But yeah, it was really, it wasn't all like, again, the floating, theories in the air. There was continued real work that had to happen once there was bits and pieces of security being built into place. Then we could open up and expand and be a little more vulnerable and a little more like bust through it all and just bear everything. And that was the hardest thing. It wasn't the, oh, I'm going to get rid of my lease. I'm going to not re up my lease. I'm going to tell you my address. I'm going to go against all things on the news and do this. Like, that all was like working through me. But the part about who are you? Where have you been? What have you experienced? Tell me other things that you have shame about, that you're scared about, you're nervous about, and be vulnerable in telling me that and not knowing how I'm going to respond. Yeah, that was some real stuff. But I also, again, I knew what I was told. I knew the conversations I was having with God before you came into my life. And I also knew that when you showed up, it was you. So I just had to obey and be obedient.
so all that, and this is where we're going to lead into part three because we're not even close to done. But all of that, and you still needed a ring.
I did. I needed a ring. Needed to get sized. Um, oh my gosh.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna hold it right there. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to know about the ring, the wedding, here's a little something. The secret. We're not going. We're going to talk about what the secret was. You got to come back for part three. There is no like, oh, this you gonna get locked in. We building something over here. All right. So, baby, tell everybody to come back so that we can move on to part three.
Come back. You know you want to. We got lots of things to tell you. Again, this is just our testimony, our sharing our story, and some of what has gone into the decision making for us in coming together and bringing us together in our union. But also really big lessons in being obedient and you know having that faith that things will work out. So yeah, come back, see what we're going to say. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting on? First of all,
Hit the
you need to
button.
subscribe,
Hit
hit
the
the button, hit
button.
the notification bell, leave your comments, all the
I,
things,
I, I,
and come back and see us. And then, let us know what you think about the episode that we had with our wedding coordinator, the lovely and amazing Gail Mendez.
I,
And we'll be bringing you future conversations with people that were so instrumental in that big, 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 big day that we'll never forget.
and let us
Anyway,
know. We're thinking about doing a series with other couples and how did they meet and how did they know. Tell us if that's something you want to see. Like engage with us, we'll engage with you.
all
Yeah.
right.